or an Eruvin Perek Vav Mishnah Aleph. We're not going to talk about, like Ahati explains, we're now going to turn our attention to Eruv Chatzerot and Shitufei Mevo'ot. Remember, everybody thinks the eruv is the enclosure that goes around the area, the city, the yishuv, the what have you. That's not true. The eruv is the food that you use in order to make the people in the enclosed area le'arev. It makes them connected. It connects them together. So in order to connect us together, everyone in the chatzer, if I have people in the chatzer, let's find my chatzer picture. Here we are. So now I have these people, and this is a chatzer that's connected together, and this is a mavoi, okay? In order for the people in the chatzer to be connected together, that they can carry in this common area, they have to do an eruv. And if I want to have people share in this mavoi, if you recall, they have to do what's called shitufei mevo'ot. That chatzer, that mavoi is food, basically, bread, that they designate and say, this belongs to all of us. And therefore, we're going to since it's collective to all of us, the common area is considered common and we can carry in it. What happens if one of these people decides, I don't want to be in the eruv? I'm not interested. You guys, I'm not sharing my common area. So if these guys want to carry with their eruv, they have two options. It's two basic options. They make an eruv, they don't want to. The guy who doesn't want to share or doesn't want to be part of the eruv, he can do what's called bitul. He's negating. He says, I'm negating my area, my reshut, vis-a-vis this area. And then the other two guys can carry. He can't, but the other two guys can carry. And what happens, our Mishnah says, if one of them is a non-Jew, and I'm just warning you, the Mishnah is really not in favor of this situation, as we'll soon see. Hadar imanachmi b'chatzer, if I have a non-Jew in my chatzer, im mi she'eno modeh be'eruv, or with someone who doesn't admit that they're modeh, agree that there's something called an eruv, that an eruv would work. The Gehati gives the example like a kuti. That guy is oser on you, and the only way you can't use what we call, you can't use eruv or bitul, and the only way the Bartanura says is until you rent from him permission to use his area in the chatzer. Rabbi Yaakov says, La'olam eno oser, ad sheyu shnei Yisraelim osim ze al ze. Right? When is it oser? Not when there's one, let's go back to our picture. Not when there's a non-Jew and a Jew, but rather two Jews and a non-Jew. What in the world is going on? So we have to read the Bartanura. The Bartanura is based on the Gemara, but it's not, what do we say, it's not PC, and it very much reflects the attitude of Chazal to having Jews live with non-Jews. Says the Bartanura, Ben the Tanakama, Ben the Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, according to both of them, Dirat Oved Kochavim Lav Shmei Dira. Meaning, a non-Jew living with a Jew in the Chatzer, that's not considered living. Especially talking about in Eretz Yisrael. Okay, that's not Shmei Dira. Ubedinu Shalot Esor, and the non-Jews, his residence there should have no effect on the Eruv. So who cares? So why is it Oser? Ella does Gazur Rabbanan. The Rabbanan made a Gzeira. Kedei Shelo Yadur Yisraelim Oved Kochavim, so that the Jew should not live next to the non-Jew. Shelo Yilmad Mima Asab. That he shouldn't learn from his actions. It's always interesting, and this is a political issue, but when in Israel it always comes up. Every year, 2 years, or whatever, comes up, should we have Arabs in our neighborhood, should we not have Arabs? And of course, the state of Israel is very democratic. But the rabbinate and the rabbis, it becomes a very political issue. You see from the Mishnah, Shalo Yadur Yisrael Oved Kochavim Shalo Yibad Ma'asav. Now you could say it's only Oved Kochavim and Arabs are not idolaters. That's true. But they were talking about non-Jews who worship idols. So what's the difference between the machloket? Tanakama Sabar Afagav the Oved Kochavim Chashir Ashlichat Damim. Even though we always have to worry that the Oved Kochavim will murder Vasto Yisrael Litachedimo. You can't live together with him. Zimni Demikra, it happens sometimes. V'dayar Yisrael Oved Kochavim, and the Jew lives with a non-Jew. And therefore, Amur Rabbanan ain't no eruv mu'il. So the rabbi said no eruvin with a non-Jew. The ain't bitu b'shut mu'il. You can't just say he can't be mevatel. Ad sheyaskir, until you rent. Ve'oved kochavim lo yaskir. And the oved kochavim, when you say to him, can I rent out your? Would you sell me the right to have your b'shut? He'll never do it. The chayesh mitchafim. He thinks you're putting some spell on him. Umitoch kach lo yavo Yisrael adu kochavim. Basically, it's all a play, right? This poor Jew is living with Oved Kochavim, so he says, can I rent out your space in the common area? The non-Jew is going to say, no way, what are you trying to do to me? You're trying to do something to me, forget it. So therefore, he has no eruv, he can't carry outside. Forget it, I'm never living in a place with a non-Jew. That's why even one. Now, Elazar ben Yaakov Savar, Elazar ben Yaakov says, since everybody agrees that guy might murder you, It's more common if you had two Jews in the courtyard with a non-Jew, but one non-Jew, you're not allowed to be mityached, to be alone, to seclude yourself. Lo gazer rabbanan. So in our case, in the case of two, Rabbi Yaakov is nobody crazy enough to live with a non-Jew alone. Two, when you have two, you feel protected, so you'll do it. And in that case, when there's two Jews, then the eruv won't work. But in either case, everybody agrees, according to the Mishnah, that the whole purpose of this halacha is to dissuade Jews from living together in close proximity with non-Jews. That's what the Mishnah says. That's what the Gemara says. It's very politically incorrect nowadays, but we know what the Mishnah says. If you have any comments or questions, I'll actually also add, it's not just what the Mishnah says. This was their experience. This is how Chazal understood. They didn't just make it up. They weren't just making it up. They lived it. They experienced it. And if they encoded it into the Mishnah, they were obviously concerned about the well-being of Jews who were experiencing this kind of behavior. If you have any comments or questions, email me. We'll dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Harav Simcha Ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.